All right. Huh. Okay. Hello, Seeker. Oh no, it had nothing to do with the internet. I just, I was missing the prompt. That's kind of important. Hi, Chops. Oh, hey, Marky. And, you know, that kind of doesn't work if I don't have that here, you know? So, kind of need the prompt to have these conversations. My bad. That was for sure just like, oops. My mistake there. Such is life. Such is life. Hey, Carly. Mischievous. No bandy. What's this say? All right. Well, Marky, we have plenty of time for that. You know what I mean? We'll find out. It's not supposed to really reach category 3 until Saturday, and it's only Monday. People really can't spell worth, like, anything. But hi, Moose. Hey, Golden. Soroski. Hello, Lala. All right. Man, did you guys see the news today? A bunch of interesting stuff. A bunch of interesting stuff going on. You know what I mean? I'm wherever I want to be. Boom. All right. Matt, you don't stick around very long anymore, and that's okay. That's okay. All right. Yep, we're all good, guys. We're up and running across all of the places. All of the places. We're gonna all do good stuff. Good stuff. Let's. Well, listen, Swarovski. I think people honestly seem to have forgotten that that was a part of his campaign promise, right? Was actually about what to do with the homelessness population or the houselessness population. It's like people missed it, and I remembered it. So that's why like you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it. I have a video set to post on TikTok after the live ends. Um, oh, okay. Gotcha, Matt. Gotcha. It's already up on the Red app that I can't say the name of because TikTok is sensitive. But now I have like for anyone that's in the Discord and that's all what I put in there, like I have more reasons to not really pay attention to one thing or another. Oh, mischievous. I had to actually, you know, record and post a video for once in my life. It's been a month. I gotta get stuff done. Been slow about it. Let's see. TikTok is there. Let's go ahead and bring up that. I like how I just get moving and then somebody immediately is just like, nah, I'll just leave. Okay. Listen, we were getting to you. Just, you know, it's not immediate. This is, I don't know, not a 7-Eleven, not a McDonald's. I don't know which one to say we're not, but we're none of it. None of those things. Hello, everyone. That's saying hi. Yes, BMC, we're all good now. I just didn't have this up there. And that was kind of a big deal. Then, of course, the horizontal stream is confused at what I'm pointing at because for them, it's over here. But it wasn't up. Well, actually, horizontal might have been. I'm not sure. Yes. Yes, Lizzie. Like, it's a whole thing. Nope, not a new place.
You're a pansexual mother of 5.
Don't know what that was, but it's not happening. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah.
Do you still support him?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what's your number one reason why?
I'm looking at the negotiations and deals that Trump has worked on with plenty of different countries, starting back in May with India and Pakistan, June with Rwanda, the Republic of Congo.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had a month later with Israel and Iran, July, Thailand and Cambodia, and now he just did Armenia and
okay, so
Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan. So real quick,
Azerbaijan, my bad, yeah.
He did not assist in Pakistan and India. We know that because India says otherwise. We know for a fact that he also did not assist with Thailand and Cambodia because Thailand also came out 3 days before they signed their peace deal and directly refused any intervention from the United States government, specifically Donald Trump. In fact, they went with Malaysia to help them with sitting down for their negotiations. So Donald Trump's just taking credit for 2 things that he had nothing to do with. And I'm not going to give him credit for Israel and Iran when he's actually the one that specifically started that, right? So after Bibi Netanyahu first attacked Iran, right, and killed all of those researchers, all of the people that were around the area that they attacked, Donald Trump took credit for the attack. I'm not going to give Donald Trump credit for something that he broke and that he acknowledges that he's the one that did that, right? He said, I helped Bibi Netanyahu plan the attack. And then not only did he help him plan the attack, we then went in and dropped bombs. So, like, we were completely a part of that. I'm not going to give him credit for stopping something he helped start.
All right, I hear that with that one, but other ones, and then what's going on with Putin in Alaska, we'll have to see what happens. But Biden couldn't get a meeting with Putin in 4 years. Now Trump is getting a meeting with Putin, so I think that's going to be a big thing.
Not a flex at all, sir. That's not a flex.
What does a flex mean?
Oh, he got a meeting with Putin, but Biden wasn't able to. No, Biden flatly refused to set up a meeting with Putin without Zelensky being present, which Putin refused to go to a meeting anywhere with Zelensky being present. So the fact that we have a meeting just between Donald Trump and Putin in Alaska and Zelensky still being left out of the equation is not a flex, sir. Because I'm sorry, who invaded who? Who invaded who in that war?
Right, Russia invaded Ukraine. I hear what you're saying.
Russia invaded Ukraine, right. So who should really be negotiating?
Zelensky, for sure.
Zelensky and?
Zelensky and Putin, and with Trump.
Directly.
Yeah.
Yeah, except that's, again, not happening, so it's not in any benefit. Right. In fact, we're seeing even more countries speak out against the fact that Donald Trump is leaving Zelensky out of the equation, including all of the Nordic countries, all of the Nordic countries, and then a bunch of the G7 countries all came together and wrote a statement as well. It's published by Italy. It's great. Everyone should read it.
Right. I definitely hear what you're saying. I'm just saying we don't know what's going to happen yet. I'm just saying that he has a meeting and hopefully something comes out of it. I also do know that there was no wars on the Trump's first term. On the Biden, we had.
That's not true.
October 7th, Russia, Ukraine happened.
That's not true.
And then afterwards, what do you mean? What's not true?
You said there were no new wars or there were no wars?
There were no new wars under Trump.
Still not true. There were multiple occurrences between, or skirmishes between Palestine and Israel. There was the Turkish-Kurdish war that occurred. There were also multiple instances in, gosh, I don't want to get it wrong, but I know that there were several African countries that were going at it that started anew under Donald Trump, but specifically the Turkish-Kurdish war, and then the multiple skirmishes that occurred between Israel and Palestine that all led up to October 7th. But those were all considered new.
Right, but the two major wars that like everyone's talking about.
Oh,
right?
but now we have to trim it down to two major wars. Got it.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's be sure. Let's try this. When did the war between Russia and Ukraine actually start?
2020. I know there was the first one under Obama administration, right?
It never stopped. So it's still not a new war, sir. Like, it started in February of 2014, right?
14, all right.
Right, when Russia illegally annexed Crimea. And then they had soldiers in Crimea the entire time. They had soldiers in the Donbas region of Ukraine the entire time. They just didn't do a massive invasion with getting help from Belarus to invade the northern part, or attempt to invade the northern part of Ukraine, until February of 2022. But that's not a new war. And again, even if we go to Israel and Palestine, they've had skirmishes.
Well, I'm sorry,
They've had skirmishes since, guess what, Israel was even declared a state way back in 1948. So even that's not a new war.
No, but Ukraine and Russia took a stop, right? A stop break in between.
No, they never did.
Obama's
no, there was never a stop. Oh, there was definitely fighting. There was fighting all throughout the Donbas region. There was fighting all throughout Crimea, right? There was multiple bombs being dropped by Russians throughout the entire Donbas region, throughout the entire time of Donald Trump's presidency, and even before Donald Trump's presidency. They were at war the entire time, sir. So again, February 2022 does not mark a new war, neither does October 7, 2023 mark a new war. They've been occurring for a long time.
Right. Okay, I hear what you're saying. It's probably true. I don't know about those things that you said. I knew that there was a war in 2014. Obviously, I knew there were skirmishes between Palestine and Israel before then, also before October 7th. But we could definitely agree that October 7th and February 2022, it escalated tenfold, right?
Escalation, yes. That's about the only thing that we can agree to, sir, is that it was in fact an escalation, but it wasn't a new war because it was already occurring.
Okay, fine. So I'm sorry that I said new war. It wasn't a new war, but it was a war that escalated tenfold, and it was totally like a major escalation. And then another war that I wanted to speak about was not necessarily a war, but when we got out of Afghanistan, it was a total disaster. Trump also wanted to leave Afghanistan, but the way we left, it was just like the way we left, and 13 people dying, and leaving billions of dollars of equipment there. Under the last 18 months, Trump was there, not one soldier died in Afghanistan.
That's not true. 65 did. 65 soldiers died in that last year under Donald Trump's presidency. In fact, do you remember those pictures that Donald Trump took at the gravesite in Arlington?
Yeah.
One of those graves actually was the dating on that gravestone was March of 2020. No, sir. It was there 18 months prior to us the full withdrawal of Afghanistan. The gravestone that he was standing next to with his thumbs up around. By the way, the gravestone literally said March 2020, literally illustrating his lie, standing right next to him, trying to make a claim that no one died in Afghanistan, ignoring the fact that 65 soldiers did. Donald Trump lied. You guys just don't zoom in. You don't look. You can even look up his... I'd have to find his name. Well, let's see. I'm just saying. I
really want to get down to the truth of this, because I would be really interested to know if that's true. Because from what I heard from multiple news sources, that the last 18 months, no one actually died under Trump's administration.
Yeah, that's because nobody actually looks stuff up. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm Googling it right now. I'm just curious to see if it's true. Because I never heard of this before, and everyone's been saying no one died the last 18 months. Because he had a whole meeting with Abdullah, and he showed him what the list. You know the famous story?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Sorry, July 7, 2020. That was the date. Unfortunately, this pop-up is covering it. There we
Okay,
go.
now where's that news source?
Oh, this is from Independent UK. So this is from the United Kingdom, and this is the picture itself. Let's see. It's kind of hard to see because, like
I'm looking right now.
said,
There no.
July 7th,
Yeah,
2020. July 7th, 2020. He died in Afghanistan. You're just going to deny it.
From February 2020 to August 2021, there was no combat death.
Got it.
I'm looking online right now on AI online right now.
AI is not a source.
Well, this is what's the source here? Let's see what the source is. I don't know.
You guys
I'm just
rely
saying, I don't know
way too
what to
much.
believe. You're quoting the source. I'm quoting the source. So you're saying it's not a source. I don't know. I just
There
googled it. So
it is.
it's
Oh, and there is
possible you're
another
right.
one. Oh my gosh,
Not-
there was 2 pictures of soldiers' names on gravestones with their date of death being in 2020 during Donald Trump's administration. Wow, this is great. It's not great because I hate the fact that people died, but it's great to see that everybody lies. And I like how now you said there was no deaths, but now it turns into there are no combat deaths. Interesting. You see how
No, it says
every single
including
time...
non-hostile.
Oh, but he, so specifically Moses Abraham Navas died in Iraq when they were on a mission to eliminate an ISIS stronghold. Wow.
Oh,
So
Trump-
he died in
Trump
combat.
discovered of ISIS.
He died in combat. Holy shit. So wait, you're lying to me again? Like, let's put him up here. This
No, I'm looking at
handsome
CBS.
gentleman.
Yes,
I
let
went
me
straight
read
to
CBS
find a
news story.
grave where they talk about specifically the soldiers that are buried in
I uploaded
Arlington
a
National
link to the screen.
Cemetery. It's on my screen. Like, it's up there. Let's be clear. So it's
I'm looking at
Moses
CBS News.
Abraham Navas.
Can I read
He
a quote
died
from CBS
March
News?
8, 2020, Purple Heart Marine Raider. And this is how
Not the one
he
we saw.
died. He died when he and another Marine, Sergeant Diego Pongo, suffered fatal wounds while accompanying Iraqi security forces during a mission to eliminate an ISIS stronghold in mountainous area of northern central Iraq. So he literally died in an active combat zone. So you lied again.
Can I quote CBS News for you?
No, I don't care about CBS News. I don't like CBS News.
Why?
I'm giving you literal facts. I don't like CBS. I don't like Fox News. I don't like NSNBC. I don't care about any of the major news sites. I'm going and giving you direct stories about the gentleman that actually died in active combat situation while
the
Donald
Department of
Trump was
Defense put up.
president that you are denying. So you're still going
This is
to
the-
deny. I just want to be clear. You're going to deny that Moses Abraham Navas died in a combat zone under
No,
Donald
I'm-
Trump. Are you going to deny that?
This is a stupid argument. I'm looking at Department of Defense data shows that there was an 18-month stretch in which no U.S. service members were killed in combat in Afghanistan. Trump was not in office for all the time.
Iraq. I said Iraq. You said no combat zones. So now are you changing your entire story that it had to be specifically Afghanistan? So now you're changing it
Well,
again. You keep moving the goalpost because you keep getting proven wrong that you don't know enough about a situation that you are claiming that you know, or for your reasoning behind voting for Trump and continuing to support
Are you
him.
going to apologize? Are you going to apologize? 1 second. Are you going to apologize for the last time I called you? You told me that there were only 3 B-2 bombers, when in fact I checked it up and there were actually 7 B-2 bombers. On
There were
3 facilities.
4 of them were decoys. I still wasn't wrong. 3 of them are the ones that drop bombs.
No, there were 7 that dropped bombs. See, you should.
3 of them
apologize to
drop
everyone.
bombs.
The whole
4 of
chat
them
went
were
crazy.
decoys.
Three-
And
the whole
guess
chat
what?
went
All
crazy.
of the chat said that, hey, buddy, all of the chat said that 4 of them were decoys. Everyone that was correcting me saying that there were 7 planes in total that flew out there, all of them said 4 of them were decoys. And I even went ahead and looked it up, and it did in fact say that 4 of them were decoys and only 3 of them dropped bombs.
That's not true. They had much more. They had 125 planes.
I like
There
how
were
you
3
still
decoys.
have to pivot off the subject that you were wrong on. Can you admit yet that you were wrong? That you lied about
First
no
of
one
all,
dying in a combat zone under Donald Trump's last
First apologize to
2
your
years?
caller.
Why would I already admitted when I was
This is
wrong
why
originally. I already
the
admitted when I
caller
was
is
wrong.
fired.
Oh, buddy. This is, so here's what's happening right now, okay? Here's what's happening right now. Is because you refuse to admit that you're wrong. You refuse to, you're just going to continue to yell and screech over me, I guess. And you haven't looked it up yet. Then why haven't you looked it up yet? So, because here's what's happening. right now is that no one can hear you at the moment.
Why? You hear me?
No, there's no way to mute a phone call, sir. The only thing that I would do if I hit the mute button is you wouldn't be able to hear me talk.
Okay, fine, go for it.
Cool. I mean, I already did. So, just being honest, like, you can't even admit that you are wrong about people dying in combat zones under Donald Trump.
If you're right, you're right.
It's on my screen. It's on my screen. It's been up there the entire time. This Marine died under Donald Trump. That Donald Trump stood in front of his gravestone, or next to it in this case, with a thumbs up, saying that no one died under him, right next to a gravestone showing that someone died. And in fact, he actually stood next to 2 gravestones depicting that people died while he in active combat zones. About so much. You were wrong about so much.
Okay, fine, but you're also wrong. We're both wrong.
Nope.
See, that's the problem. I could admit that I'm wrong, but you're unable to admit. Why can you admit that you're wrong? Go search it up. It was 7 V2 planes.
I already did. And after the phone call with you, I already said it exactly what it was. The truth of the matter is there were 7 planes that flew over Iran. Only 3 of them dropped bombs. 4 of them were decoys.
But that's not true.
I mean, you can keep saying it, but those were the facts.
I don't want you to lie to your audience. It's fake news.
I'm not lying. You're the one that's lying.
Oh my God.
You're also the one that can't continue to admit that you're wrong about literally every single thing. It's kind of funny.
So you think overall Biden's foreign policy is better than Trump's foreign policy? I just want to know.
Dude, I don't... Who's president right now? I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about... Not in 2024. I don't give a shit about Biden and what the fuck. He's nothing anymore. I hope he enjoys his retirement. That's about all I can say about Biden. Biden could have done more. Biden could have done a lot more, but he didn't. And I think that that's a major problem that people don't talk about enough. Did he do some stuff? Yes, he did, but he could have done a lot fucking more, and he did not.
And that's exactly why the whole country is swinging right. Trump won the popular vote for a reason.
He didn't even do that.
What? Won the popular vote by 1.5 million. And you know what just came out? Also, I have another good point to say.
How about no?
Last good point. The UN came out and said that.
I'm good. He kind of sounded like the guy that wanted to say that the United States was a business and therefore must be ran as such, but he wasn't quite there. But we are open and ready for the next caller. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello. Yeah.
Hi, how old are you?
My name is. Yeah, I'm 36. My name is Alexei, and you guys can call. I guess you can consider me an illegal immigrant. So
you didn't vote. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello?
Hi.
Yo, I just wanted to say, I really appreciate what you're doing. Fuck Trump, dude. Fucking awful.
Oh, thank
I'm sorry
you.
for calling like this. I'm sorry, but thank you.
You have a good one. Coconuts in the chat for Jessica Simone. Hey, Jessica. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
Good. I'm 54.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
And you still support him?
I do.
Why do you still support Trump?
Well, I think closing down the borders was a good idea.
Okay. How did he do that?
Just by enforcing the laws. In the last administration, that was taken away from them by
under what? So can you articulate like what exactly took away laws away from?
Well,
CBP, I guess, DHS.
Yeah, partially, and just having an open border. I mean, that wasn't a good idea.
The border has never been open, nor has it ever been closed, even now. It's quite
Well,
literally impossible. Do you know how many
well,
miles of there are across the southern border?
with Mexico, I think it's around 1,700, isn't it?
1,943 miles. Do you know how many
That's a pretty
miles
good
of?
guess.
Yeah, you were close.
Yeah.
Do you know how many miles of border wall there is?
I believe when they stopped building it, what was it up to about 240?
Uh, Low, but let's. Oh, sorry, this was more for. Oh, thanks, Jessica. You're low. It's about
Okay.
it's about just on about 500. It's under 600 miles of border wall.
Okay. Well, that was a pretty good start. I see the company that was going to auction off the wall is now working a deal with the feds to return the wall. So that seems pretty good. But coming through illegally is just not a good thing for our country. It hasn't worked out well anywhere else in the world. I mean, if you see what's going on in London now, or France, even in Paris, but it affected me directly, so maybe that makes me a little one-sided. In the 4 years of the last administration, I attended 5 funerals by friends that were killed by people who had illegally crossed into our country within days.
Okay. Well, I'm very sorry for the loss that you've
Yeah,
experienced.
yeah, it was a tough one. There's no doubt about it. Two were shot in the back of the head in a carjacking, and they came through Eagle Pass days before.
Okay.
And then a friend,
Just so TikTok is a very sensitive app, and you have to treat it like it's a child. So you have to be
Okay.
careful with what you say.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So
About being shot, you mean?
you should details
What
do not. So here's what TikTok can take what you just said as. TikTok could
Okay.
take how you describing the act to in fact be
Yeah.
a threat of VIOL. Sorry, yeah, VIOLENCE, and we don't want that
Okay.
to happen. So
No, I
do
don't want
not.
that to
Yeah.
happen
So
either.
don't describe the
So
act.
yeah. So anyways, you were you were saying why I still support them. Even up to today, I think the crime's gotten out of control. Coming from a law enforcement family, defunding the police was not the brightest thing this country's ever done. And I think Trump bringing the National Guard to D.C. You hate to see that in our country. Trust me, I travel all over the world. And
Can I ask you why, if Donald Trump, if there's this huge issue in D.C., why did he defund their security in D.C. by 44%?
Donald Trump defunded
Yeah.
D.C. security?
Yep. Let me pull it up. August 9th.
Yeah, that'd be.
Okay.
Like he took Capitol Police away, you mean?
Nope, he cut their security funding by 44%.
Okay, well, security funding and cutting police officers is two different stories. Go ahead, pull it up. I'd definitely be interested to hear it.
Yeah, it was reported on one of their main news reporting agencies within DC, WTOP News. Trump administration slashes DC security funding by 44%.
Okay, but security funding refers to what?
So it's about the members of different agencies that are patrolling the area. It also is cutting FEMA's urban security funds by $25.2 million, which was a part of their fiscal year 2025 Homeland Security Grant Program.
Okay, but
So this
We still haven't.
is the
We still
reason for
haven't
the
got the.
cuts. The Department of Homeland Security, which FEMA is part of, is to align with current threat landscape because they observed a shift from large-scale coordinated attacks like 9/11 to simpler, small-scale assaults, heightening the vulnerability of soft-top targets in crowded spaces in urban areas. So basically, they just don't consider it a threat, and they don't feel like funding Capitol Police, FBI, or DEA programs within DC.
Right, but I'm talking about the cops that are on the beat. You don't have FBI agents on the beat of the streets of DC, nor do you have them on the beat of the streets of New York City. But I understand where you're pulling this article, and I understand what you're saying. But they're talking about security, and they're not saying about removing law enforcement from the streets.
I didn't say that they were removing law enforcement from the streets.
Oh, okay.
I was
Okay, then,
literally,
okay.
yeah,
So,
reading it as it was stated is that
right,
they
okay.
slashed their funding by 44%, which is
Okay,
still
and
going
this-
to have a negative impact on Washington, D.C. You know, the place that's so riddled with crime simply because one former member of Doge was attacked by a group of teenagers that should have been home, which, by the way, let me be very clear, is deplorable and should not happen. I don't condone any kind of
Right.
violence in any way, shape, or form, but it's not as big of a deal as it was made out to be. And also,
Do you
just so I'm
spend
not forgetting
much
it,
time in
thank you,
DC?
Snooks, for the 30.
Yeah. Do you spend much time in DC?
Oh, I haven't been to DC since 2017. Sorry, actually, way
Okay.
before then, 2000 something.
Yeah. If you went back now for a visit, it would be like going to New York City. It's horrific. It's not the same. It's not the same place, and I'm there quite often, in and out for business. It's not a safe city.
Is that why their crime has gone down year over year?
No, their murder rate actually exceeds.
Went down. It went down.
No. Okay. Well, if you. Okay.
No, I mean, I literally just looked up these statistics today because I posted an entire video about it. So, from just in 2025, so looking from January 1st up through literally noon today, their, let's see, homicide rate is down 12%.
That's a
and
good
then if
start.
we look at, and that's from 2024, and if we look at 2024 compared side by side to 2023, it was down 32%.
Another good start.
Yeah, so it's not even, like, I hate to even say it, but 274 homicides is not as much as what other areas in the country experience with even the same population size. And that was 2023's homicide numbers. But in 2024, it was 187, which was a 32% downward change. And this is directly from the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police District crime data.
Right. Did you see the head of the D.C. police today? And when Trump was speaking?
No, I didn't watch his speech.
Oh, well, he had the head of the D.C. and the Capitol Police there.
Yet the mayor says otherwise. But this is from their numbers. This is from their numbers.
I understand what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. But you've got the head of the Capitol Police and the head of the D.C. Police saying that things are absolutely out of control.
No.
So I'm not.
I mean,
yeah. Oh no. You should go back
I
and
guess
watch
they
it
can
today.
say that, but it's very interesting when their own data and statistics that are put out by the individuals in question say otherwise. This is directly from Metropolitan Police, Washington, D.C., District Crime Data at a Glance. 2025 year-to-date crime comparison as of August 11, 2025, as of 12 a.m. Sorry, I said p.m. earlier. It's a.m. My mistake.
No,
and then it shows the
you're
change, down 12% compared to this time last year. Sexual assaults down 50% compared to this time last year. Assault with a dangerous weapon down 20%. Robbery down 28%. Violent crime overall down 26%. Overall crime down 7% in total compared to 2024, which saw a significant 15% decrease of all-time crime down in Washington, D.C. by 15% in 2024 over 2023.
I completely understand what you're saying, but I'm going by,
So are you...
by something I'm...
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
here's what I have to believe then. If you're telling me that, what's his position that was up there speaking with Trump?
You had the head of the Capitol Police, and then you had the head of the D.C. Metro Police.
Okay, so
You
the
should go
head of
back
the
and watch it
Capitol
today.
Police, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
purposely
the head of the
choose...
D.C. Police.
Got it. Okay, so what you're telling me then is that someone is lying to cover their ass or to snooze up to Trump, because this is what we know. They put out their own statistical data, which they just updated overnight this morning, right? They just updated as of basically August 10th, 2025. They just updated it.
Right.
And their statistics show the opposite of what they said on national television standing next to Donald Trump. So at this regard, critical thinking would have to posit and say that what in fact they were actually doing was sucking up to Trump to make him feel good.
Either that, or I guess the counter to what you're saying there would be, or something was put in print to try to protect it. So, right, I mean, you and I can both look at it both ways. But something that came out of somebody's mouth. What was put in print to try
to protect something? What?
Yeah. You're saying that somebody's sucking up to Trump.
Yes.
Right. So, or you could have something put into print that's trying to suck up to something else. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
I don't think you understand that they had time to modify this if they were going to lie. Someone is saying the mayor... Yeah, I know the mayor wasn't there, but someone else is saying that the head of D.C. police wasn't there either.
Yeah, they were. They were. I actually watched it this morning. And don't get me wrong, it's a horrific time for our country. I spend a lot of time in South and Central America, and third world countries have armed guards, or soldiers, I should say, on every corner. It's not a nice thing. It really is not. It's not the America we know. And for this to have to take place in D.C., to me, as a Trump supporter,
it's not really taking place.
It's heartbreaking.
So here's my biggest issue with a lot of things, right? Especially with what you're saying, is you just want to continue to say that. So there, like, basically it was said next to Donald Trump, so therefore it must be true. Donald Trump is involved, so therefore it must also be true. And I hate to even bring it down to this, but you are just mostly arguing crime, statistics, and data with just your feelings. You're ignoring the statistics and data that show otherwise.
Okay, let me ask you this. In our country, in America, would you agree with me that crime has gotten off the hook?
No, crime is down.
Okay.
According to FBI, DOJ, and CDC data, crime is down.
Well, Kash Patel was there today too. He does not agree.
Oh, you mean Kash Patel, who said that? Sorry, I can't say the name, so I have to say it in a different way. That before he was brought into office, said that there is no way anywhere on God's green earth that Jeff Steen killed himself, right? But now he's saying, while capitulating to Donald Trump, who gave him a job, that he did. Gotcha. I should believe somebody that changes his morals based off of who's president and based off of what political gain he gets from it. Just like I suppose I should also believe Tulsi Gabbard when in March of 2025, she said that Iran had no nuclear weapons, but after Donald Trump was getting on a plane in June, the very beginning of June of 2025, said she doesn't know what she's talking about. Iran has nuclear weapons. The very next day, while standing next to Donald Trump, Tulsi Gabbard says, yes, Iran has nuclear weapons. So which one is it, sir? Should I believe people that change their tune just because Donald Trump is standing next to them? Similar enough to Pam Bondi sitting at a meeting talking about how she didn't say that the Jeff Steen list was on her desk, but while she was sitting there next to Trump, before she even answered the question or addressed the issue about saying that the files were on her desk, she looked over straight at Donald Trump and then turned back over to the news agency and started talking and went back and looked right back at Donald Trump while saying, yeah, there is no list. I'm looking at Donald Trump, not at the reporter that asked me the question or the cameraman. I'm looking at Donald Trump to make sure he knows.
Right.
I'm saying there was no list.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I do, and I do remember it very well, actually. But she did say the files were on her desk.
Oh no,
She
I
did not
agree.
say
She
the
said
list.
files. I wasn't
Okay.
saying that she was lying about that. I was just saying, like, there's a point of reference to be had when you are clearly looking away from the news anchor that asked you the question, or looking away from the camera, which most people talk to, right? Donald Trump always is looking at the camera when he talks. Sorry,
Right.
not always, about 75% of the time.
Right.
And staring at your boss to make sure that he knows you're on the same page as him, saying that there is no list.
Well, I guess that's history to be seen, right?
No, he
Is
literally.
there a list? Is there not a list?
What we know for a fact is that Donald Trump campaigned on making sure that he had a administration full of loyalists. He even used the word loyalists. He's looking for yes men. We know that because he fired the BLS woman, right? The woman that was over the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, that not only puts out our unemployment numbers, but also puts out our inflation rate data, right? Fired her because he disagreed with the numbers. And then also lied about the fact, lied about what the data was that was released.
I think you're mistaken. And again, I'm really on top of this. I wish I could tell you why, but I can't. But the reason she got fired was because if those numbers would have come out 24 hours earlier, Jerome Powell for sure would have lowered rates. And to think
not
that
why he said that. That's not why he said that he fired her. Did at one point, did at any point, like when did he, what reason did he say that he fired her? And also, do you even know what day of the month that this data is always released on? It's always released on the 15th of every month.
And that's also revised. And it's always revised. That's the horrible part.
There are quarterly and then biannual revisions that occur. That is absolutely correct. Yes.
Yeah, we get monthly revisions.
They're typically only quarterly.
We get no. Actually, they go back 60 days later. They go back and revise the 60 days before. And I think that his whole thing is he is pushing for rates. I'm not a big fan of rate cuts, just so you know. So if you want to find out the parts where I'm not 100% loyalist to Donald Trump, okay? I don't want you to think that. I'm very against dramatic rate cuts, because so I can tell you why. Being partially an economist, it is short-term gain with long-term pain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything has long-term consequences. Can you tell me when the Fed meets to discuss, like, potentially lowering interest rates?
The next time? In September.
No, like, prior, like, how often do they meet?
Well, it depends if you've got a crisis on your hands or not. Usually they would be scheduled for so many rate cuts. They're now talking that we may see 4 or possibly even 5 by the end of the year. So that kind of takes the normal schedule and throws it out the window.
Okay, so now we're going to see more rate cuts. Got it. So now the claim is changing.
Which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah. RJ wanted to point out, and I already said this, but RJ wanted to repeat and reiterate that crime is down. Guest.
RJ?
Yes, my friend RJ. If you guys aren't hitting up my friend on the other side, the red app, I don't know why. Just shoot him a follow. Or, subscribe on that channel. Which also, guys, I haven't said this yet, but subscribe over here on TikTok. We're still running a whole shebang. It's right there on the thing. Watch my first pin video. Get involved. Subscribe. We got to be at 225 by the end of the month.
Okay. Well, you got the plug in, but just so you know, I actually wish rates were raised. I know it's horrible for the corporate aspect and people and businesses that refi their loans. It is devastating. I mean, look at the store closures business closures throughout our country are just horrific. So, or do we have a booming economy? No, but going back to the jobs report, it is mind-boggling that those numbers were cut that drastically, and Jerome Powell didn't have it. That's why you have a walkout at the Federal Reserve. I hate to even call it the Federal
Okay,
Reserve.
so I think
because,
sorry, I'm going to correct something. So
Sure.
you were talking about originally in September of 2024 for the year 2025, they were projecting that the Fed would be doing 4 interest rate cuts in the year 2025. That immediately changed when Donald Trump came into office and started fucking around with tariffs, right? So
What do you mean? What
there's
do you
a
mean messing
reason.
around with tariffs? What do you mean by messing around with Harris?
I said tariffs. Sorry.
Oh, tariffs. Yeah. Well, Trump had huge tariffs in his first presidency. They didn't hurt the economy. If you talk to like the bigwigs, and these are just things you have to look at. And I know you and I have a drastic age difference, but if you have the head of Ford Motors coming out and saying, people, oh, the tariffs, that's why Ford's in so much trouble. No, Ford's in so much trouble because there was an electric vehicle mandate. And if you watched his interview back 90 days ago on one of the Sunday morning shows, he was all for the tariffs. He wants to bring the manufacturing back into this country. He blames the problems that Ford are going through right now on the electric vehicle mandate. And his exact words were, when it comes to electric pickup trucks, in 2030, you can buy brand new 2024s and 2025s. They cause Ford incredible pain. And that's why Ford got to where they were. Jeep went through the same thing, right? In the last year, Jeep's closed 3 plants in the United States. You can't, when you have major corporations like this that are not
Is that why
against the tariffs,
GM is against the tariffs and says that they're at a direct negative cost in a result of that, right? Like GM, General Motors, who's also probably even bigger than Ford. I'm not really sure where they really stand on the market.
Right.
But says that not only are tariffs negatively impacting them, but also these trade deals that Donald Trump is instituting or somehow supposedly negotiating with Japan is going to severely negatively impact GM and all other American automakers.
Okay,
And yeah,
so you're hearing me.
he is. Sorry, someone also wanted to point out in the comments that
Go right ahead.
they have lost money. Ford has lost already $2 billion. Like they're estimating to lose $2 billion in 2025 as a result of the tariffs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know where you get that from, but there's if you listen to the head of Ford, he's all for it.
Oh no, I see that. That's not a problem.
Do you know
but
what last minute Ford is?
Last minute Ford?
Yep, that's what they're called. Last minute Ford.
You're awesome.
I don't know if you're saying
you know what that
for
refers
it
to?
or Ford, Ford.
Ford, the manufacturer, Ford. They call them last minute Ford. You know why?
Why?
Because their parts for final assembly show up at the very last minute. They don't have a stockpile of anything.
Yeah,
And
most
that's
of our
why the head of
vehicles
Ford
can't
is all
be
for
built in the United States without some part or another from another country.
Okay, that's why Ford is all for the tariffs. And you got to remember, the tariffs are not on American vehicles. They're not on American vehicles. So somebody to say that GM or Jeep or Ford or Chevy is being heavily impacted by the tariffs is just, I don't want to use the L word. I'll just say it's incorrect. It's 100% incorrect. But people want to believe that. Trust me. I had a neighbor.
Is that why there's a specific targeted 25% tariff on automobile parts?
You're awesome.
Right. And
there's a
and
specific. So hold on. Let's try this again. There is a specific 25% tariff on imported automobile
Mhm.
parts,
Right. You are 100%
which
correct.
are needed to make American-made vehicles, correct?
So that's correct. So why aren't they allowed
Gotcha.
to stockpile? Gotcha. Why aren't they allowed to stockpile these parts?
They could if they chose to.
No, they couldn't. See, you're getting into uncharted territories for yourself, and no, that isn't allowed. It's not allowed by U.S.
What?
regulation, which
Oh,
is horrific.
What law
But if
says
those
that?
I'm not going to be able to quote that off to you in 2 seconds, but trust me, I've got big wigs in
You've been
General
wrong
Motors.
about most of what you've said so far. The only thing that I know that you're
what have I
not
been,
gonna
honey, what have I
probably
been wrong about? What have I been wrong about? Tell me. What? Just give me one
Crime.
good reason.
Crime.
Okay, that
Specifically
ma'am, you're
DC crime, right? That's proven wrong, that it's gone down. We can also
Okay,
talk
so
about
Trump
crime
let me
nationally
get this right.
has gone down
You-
according to the FBI, the
you-
Department of Justice, and the CDC data that's all been released. That's all gone down. You're ignoring the fact that GM is also saying that they're suffering a loss because of the tariffs. You said that there are no tariffs on U.S. automobiles when that's in fact incorrect, because it specifically, we have a 25% tariff on imported automobile parts, which are required to be used in order to
Right,
produce and
right,
make
but
and
there's not a
manufacture United
Okay.
States, like our vehicles made by Ford, GM, all of the other companies making them here.
Right.
They have to import a lot of parts in order to do it, and there's a very specific one.
Which is what? What's the specific part that they have to bring in?
Section
has a tariff
232
on
automobile tariffs.
Okay, you're going back and forth now, and I'm not trying to embarrass you or anything else. I'm trying to have a very open discussion with you. But if you're telling me on an alternator that is bought or manufactured in China, let's say, or Taiwan or somewhere else, that's brought in for part of the assembly, that is a completely different thing than an automobile tariff. I was talking about an automobile tariff. So vehicles that are produced outside the United States that are U.S., right? Most of your Fords are built where? Where are they assembled? In Mexico, right? Most of your other vehicles, where are they assembled? In Canada. Those American vehicles, when they're brought into the United States, they do not qualify for a tariff. What you're talking about is a $150 part or a $200 part that is created overseas that our manufacturers are using, that $250 part is now going to be $280, $290. Don't tell me that's what's causing Ford, General Motors, Jeep, and
Trump
everybody
administration's
else.
tariffs on imported automobiles and parts, which went into effect April and May of 2025.
Right. Not on U.S. manufactured vehicles. It's not on U.S. brands. It's not.
Oh.
It's on parts that are created outside. That's why the head of Ford is so 100% pro wanting those parts to be made in the United States. It brings manufacturing back to the U.S.
It doesn't.
It doesn't?
No. It didn't even bring it back the very first time that we had tariffs on everything.
Oh, sure it did. You don't remember Carrier, the air conditioning company that had just built a monster plant down in Mexico? And when Trump said, boy, oh boy, that's fine, Carrier, if you want to do that, but you're going to pay a tariff so heavy to bring those air conditioners back into the United States, it's basically going to put you out of the market because your cost is going to be so high. What did Carrier do? They moved right back into the United States when they had just built massive plant in Mexico.
Is that why John Deere and Harley Davidson still don't make all of their parts or all of their tractors that they sell, motorcycles that they sell within the United States, and they still make it in places like, I don't know, Mexico and Canada? Is that why they still produce everything there and not all here?
Oh, cheap labor. It's horrible.
Oh yeah,
Stuff that's sent out for cheap labor.
They're so afraid of all of these tariffs that they specifically moved their manufacturing out of the country while Trump was president, while these tariffs were all in place. Got it.
You're making my point for me. You're making my
I
point.
don't think I am. So really
I
quickly,
Sure.
Sorosky wanted to let you know that 7 of the top 10 states with highest crime rates are red states, 4 of which are in the top 5.
Which would be what?
I'm not looking
What?
that up. I was just reading a chat. Paul,
Yeah.
thank you for the
It's too
10,
bad
said tariffs are a tax on imports. Importers will raise the price of an item in order to overcome the tax. This directly affects consumers with higher prices. Okay, short term, horrible long term. Yes, we've all seen the impact. And
Yeah.
then Whitney
Yeah.
wants to also point out to you that age doesn't make a
Sure.
difference.
It does
What's
when
it
you've
say?
experienced it. Tell
I
Whitney.
can't. She also said, I can't stand when someone older tries to sound smarter just because of it. Like, seriously, WTF. Also, thank you, host, for all you do.
Yeah, we
Whitney,
don't have
she,
to
her.
sound smarter when you've been through it and you understand it. You see what happens. I mean, look at the
So
manufacturing
now,
jobs.
got it. You're just going to assume, like, what I've been through in life. Got it. Cool.
Nope.
Like, you see
No.
how all you're doing is, like,
No.
making assumptions and just saying, like, you're trying to argue as if
I'm
you have a
not.
point of authority all because of your age and your own experience that none of us know, none of
No.
us can fact check, right? This is why I don't actually like anecdotal stories, because there's no way for me to really fact check this. What we do know,
You
as in
can't.
fact, what we saw as a result of tariffs on lumber and steel under the under the Trump administration, right, that started under Trump, that were carried out, continued by Biden, is that we lost 142,600 jobs in those industries alone, and we lost 0.2% of their normal contributions to our GDP growth in the United States of America. You can find all of this data on the taxfoundation.org. Also, thank you, Shishi, for
Sure.
being a paid subscriber on
Yeah.
TikTok.
Right.
Like,
And where does 80% of the lumber in the United States come from? 80% of the lumber.
Canada.
Where does it come from? That's right.
Yeah, I know this, sir. Like,
Right.
do you understand that, like, I'm able to say a lot of
hang
this?
on,
Oh my
hang
gosh.
on. Why did lumber go through the roof with COVID? Why?
I don't know. Regale
Okay, you
me
don't
with
know.
your
It's
infinite
because
wisdom.
it's because the mills were shut down in Canada.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Gotcha.
So if you have a shortage of anything, you're going to have a price increase.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Oh, thank you, YOLO, for also renewing your sub.
Correct? Of course you are. I mean, those are the things you invest in. You don't invest in things that there's a gazillion of. You
Gotcha.
invest in things that there's a limited supply of.
Oh,
right?
okay.
With your investment.
Sure.
Right? I mean, that's what you do.
Is it?
You don't invest in a bubblegum company.
No.
Right, but you could invest in Apple.
Oh.
Right?
No, I'm
There's
good.
not an infinite supply. Well, there's not an infinite supply of iPhones made.
Uh-huh.
And there's a high demand for them, so the prices of iPhones go up.
Yeah.
Right. These are lifelong lessons. They're not something that you study on. They're things you learn along the way.
Uh-huh.
That's all. That's all I was trying to say to you. But I'm sorry that you've got some bad information on things. But
again, you've been wrong about a lot.
Well, you keep saying that, but you haven't been able to point out to me where I've been wrong.
No,
you
so
talked about
I've told
Washington.
you.
Wait a second.
I have told you.
No.
It's okay.
No,
I
you went
actually
on
told you
Washington
multiple
crime off
times.
something
What it
you
is
read
that you're
from a
actively doing
newspaper.
is that you're refusing to believe the statistical data that is out there. You're refusing to believe or listen to the fact of knowledge, and you're just ignoring it because somebody else told you something different. So therefore, statistics and data that we have is going to be automatically wrong just because it goes against your primary belief system that you have inside of you. I got it. It's cool. Yeah, you're just not listening. Thank you for the Canadian 5. Oh, it didn't go up. My bad. It's being weird. Hi, Canadian here from the steel industry. We buy from India now. We can't even ship to our own company in the US without getting 100% tariff. I'll look that up, as I don't know what our tariff rates are right now on steel. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah. Hello?
Hi, how old are you? Oh, Shishi, that's my account. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Trump is the best. Fuck you.
Okay. Go play outside and touch grass. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 24.
Did you vote for Trump? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, did you vote for Trump?
Hi. Yeah.
Okay, and do you still support him?
Sorry, hold on.
Yeah, it's better to stop the stream in the background. It does run a little bit delayed.
Hello?
Hi, I'm there.
Hi, I'm 24.
Okay, did you vote for Trump?
Yes.
And do you still support him?
Yes.
All right. Really quick, do you mind if I just do a quick PSA?
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Really quickly, I'm going to mute you guys over on TikTok just for a second. Hi, everyone, again on Twitch. I promise I'm not ignoring you. It's just really hard to see everybody. You guys are going back and forth. That's funny. Just a friendly reminder, and I'm going to check this one because I can't remember what our still tariff is, but if you send a super chat or you become a member on YouTube, I will put it right up on the screen. Soon, hopefully, we'll be having Twitch going up here really soon. We just got to meet one more day of 3 consistent viewers, so you guys will be able to join soon. Back over on TikTok, this happens a lot. So the account that's right over here is actually my backup account. This is me. It's not anyone calling in. This one is me. So if you're not following my backup account, just go ahead and follow it. It's just in case, for some reason, TikTok takes me down. And of course, don't forget to hit the red button up here at the top. And then go ahead and help me finish out this, the like goal, which we should be at by now, but let's get it up there. And help me finish out the little gift goal. It's just some roses. Okay. I do appreciate you so much, caller, for your patience. What is the main reason that you voted for Trump?
I like his border security policy.
Okay, I'm sorry. I asked you the wrong question, and I'm sure it might still be the same answer. But what is the main reason that you still support Trump?
For pretty much the same reason. His
Okay.
border security policy keeps us very secure on our border.
That's what I figured, but I was like, oh, I asked that wrong, and that was my bad. Okay. So what specifically did, I guess, he do in order to, like, strengthen the borders? Do you happen to know?
So day one, he did sign an executive order declaring a national emergency on our southern border. And just by his strong policies and signing that executive order, border crossings went way down just as a result of having that force from his administration. Also, he's obviously been sending messages all around the country to round up illegal aliens, support them, and he has really done a great job getting rid of the illegal aliens in our streets, keeping those numbers down. We've had the last 3 months of no illegal aliens entering this country. He truly believes in enforcing border security, and that's something that I want to see in a president, because without borders, you do not have a country.
Okay, so a couple of things here. Can you tell me, what does CBP count at the border? What do they keep track of on their website?
So they keep track of multiple different things, but they obviously keep track of how many people get into this country, how many people they check in, how many people they detain. There's many different numbers that they look at.
They actually don't keep track of. They actually don't keep track of entries. So CBP specifically keeps track of encounters, which is just people that they meet. They keep track of apprehensions, and then they keep track of detention or deportations.
And those numbers
but
were
they do not.
Millions under the last administration, which means there was millions more that got into this country that we don't even know about. They were not vetted. We could have let in terrorists.
No.
We let in rapists. We
No,
don't know
that's
what we let in.
stop, pause.
Nope.
There's a whole bunch of lies that you just told and a bunch of misinformation that you just told, which is totally unacceptable. So again, can you
like
try to explain to me what exactly an encounter is then?
Can you try and explain to me how many illegal aliens got into this country that we don't know about? That have raped women?
Stop.
That have hurt
Stop.
children?
Stop.
Do you have an answer
Stop.
for me on that?
I don't know how long you've been watching the stream, but I'm getting really tired of having to tell people this. TikTok is an app for children, so TikTok doesn't like certain words. So if you're going to talk about a specific act like RAPE, TikTok gets super sensitive and thinks that you're threatening to commit a crime.
Really, what's funny is that you said the F word earlier.
F word doesn't mean anything. I'm so sorry. FUCK hurts your feelings. It has never hurt TikTok's feelings. Just to prove a point. Fuck. Fuck. Fuck, 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 fuddy, fuck, 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 fuckity, fuck. 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 Fucking's not a crime. Bruh. Okay, so let me be clear. I know I've said this before, okay? But I just want to reiterate this, okay? CBP keeps track of encounters. Encounters literally means people are being stopped at the border, or they're being stopped trying to go through customs at an airport. That's what encounters mean. Unauthorized crossings, illegal crossings, undocumented crossings are an unquantifiable number because we do not know. No one knows that number because it's impossible to keep track. If someone is caught on camera, then that's included as an encounter. If someone is stopped at the border, then that's an encounter. If someone is stopped at a non-port of entry by CBP or by the National Guard, then that is an encounter. Gotaways are an unquantifiable number because we have no way of actually keeping track or knowing how many people cross. So even now, under Donald Trump's strong border, we don't know who is coming in illegally or through a non-port of entry. I hope that helps. Phone lines are back open, though. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hey.
Hi. How old are you?
37, living in Florida. How old are you?
30. Did you vote for Trump?
I did. 2016 and 2024.
Okay. Do you still support him?
What's that? I'm sorry, you broke up.
Do you still support Trump?
I think so, yeah. Why not, right?
I mean, I think my prompt would disagree with saying why not, but that's okay. What is...
Well, okay, listen. I get your stream. I get your live thing. I think you're cute. That's why I want to talk to you. But I just don't get the whole anti-Trump thing.
So you're trying to ask me why I don't support Trump?
No, I'm just trying to understand why you're on a live stream putting yourself out there to talk smack on Trump. Now, I haven't watched too long. I've watched a few times. I've tried to call several times, and I just kind of wanted to get in here and kind of see what the hell is going on.
Candid, that is a funny comment on the Purple app. I mean, so like, what specific question do you have then? Because what is going on doesn't really give me a question to answer.
Well, I think people calling in are kind of putting you on the spot to kind of you know plead your case. You're the one putting yourself out there on social media.
Yeah, I like a challenge.
Well, I respect that. I think that's strong. I think that's awesome. But I mean, just, in a single sentence, why don't you like Trump's presidency? why don't you like Trump as a whole?
So this is specifically about his presidency, and this is, since you want it in a single sentence, it is going to be a run-on. So bear with me here as I speed through it. I personally don't believe in supporting a president that violates articles and amendments of the United States Constitution, talks about annexing our neighbor Canada, talks about buying another country known as Greenland, talks about taking back the Panama Canal, which was rightfully given back to them by an act of Congress in 1999 after riots broke out in Panama as a result of our military occupation of the canal.
Panama Canal, a couple times in that sentence.
No, it's just that it takes a lot to go through the fact and making. I choose to make it a known point that it was given back to Panama as an act of Congress, which means it would take an act of Congress to even try to talk about buying it or negotiating with Panama for ownership of the canal.
Okay, that's fair. Now I'll be honest with you. I don't really pay attention to the Panama Canal, but what I do pay attention to as a middle-class citizen living in Florida is what I see, day to day. Now, I'm not. I've removed myself from mainstream media. I've removed myself from most of the traditional media norms. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say that as a middle class, if you maybe haven't picked up on it, but I'm a white guy with a family and a daughter, and what is so wrong about being America first? What is so wrong about protecting America's borders? What is so wrong about being a nationalist, if you want to consider that a bad word or not? What is wrong about my kind of view on being America first, being pro-USA, being, chanting USA? I mean, I really haven't watched you too much to really discern about what you're all about, but I just, by the looks of it, it just looks like, and forgive me if I'm being ignorant, but it feels like you're one of the lefty wokes who are just screaming at the top of their lungs about everything that's wrong. Now, I am being completely honest. I don't mean to insult or disrespect, but from the half hour to an hour I've watched and tried to get on this phone call, it just seems like you're living in Denver, Colorado, just trying to scream at the top of your lungs about how Trump is bad.
Does an area code specifically tell somebody where somebody currently resides in their life?
No. Well, I mean, me trying to call in, it shows a Denver, Colorado area code. Now, I'm not. Listen, I'm giving you the most up respect I can. I don't know who you are. I don't know much about you. All I know is that you're on YouTube streaming. Constantly about how you disagree with Trump and his policies. I don't really know your stance on America as a whole, but I still think you're cute, and I wanted to talk to you.
Okay, so I would say that, in all honesty, at least in my opinion, Donald Trump, to start with, is not actually American first. America first is also a misnomer because America is broken up into two continents, if we're being completely honest, right? And really three if you include Central America. So that's part of the reason why, I get a little bit stuck up on words and phrases, and I don't really like saying that. And just, there's a lot of things what good does it actually do us to write an executive order saying that the Gulf of Mexico shall henceforth be known as Gulf of America? What did we gain? What did we gain from that?
We're America first. We're about winning. We're about leading. Leading in every facet that we can.
If I may, in my opinion, America first would mean taking care of the people within America first. That would be my opinion of America first. which
and,
is
and I agree with you 100%. But I
okay.
think we can
He's not
both
doing
agree that. Well, I think we can both agree that many states do not, in the slightest, uphold that. They're, I mean, geez, I can name 5 states off the bat that aren't considering their citizens first. See, this is the interesting thing: is you open yourself up to a plethora of questions with this stream, and so it's just interesting to me that you just kind of put yourself in that situation.
Why not? I still don't see a reason why not to do it. Also,
Okay,
TikTok,
okay,
let's get up to
okay,
100,000 likes in the next 15, or sorry, not 15, in 5 minutes. You guys can do that. You're almost there anyways. So, again, like being
let's leave the likes aside. Let's leave the internet points aside. But, you know, at the end of the day, you're putting yourself out there in a place. Okay, so it's fair. You want to open up a spot for conversation, open up a spot for debate and everything like that.
It's just a conversation.
Okay, well, I mean, it's just a conversation, but, you know, let me ask you this. Are you married? Do you own a home? Do you own property? Do you pay taxes?
Do I pay taxes? Absolutely. The other questions I'm not answering.
Okay, well, that's fair. I'm not trying to get into your personal life, but it just, from the surface of things, watching your stream, it just doesn't look like that you have any structure or direction in your life.
Right, because I stream for about 2 hours a day, 6 days a week. So I obviously have no life outside of this. The more I learn... Oh, thanks, Nacho, for resubbing.
Like I said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to give you my perspective of things. And
no, it's cool. I learn something new about myself every time I stream because people are always making assumptions about me.
No. Listen, I told you when I started this conversation, I think you're really cute. I think you're really attractive. I just don't understand why, as a young, pretty woman, you would put yourself out in this manner.
Because I think politics shape the way that our society runs. And by being ignorant of what's occurring within politics or the political atmosphere, it's a detriment, especially for somebody that wants to vote in 2026 or 2028 or moving forward. And so therefore, I think it's important to not only get on here and actually speak about what's occurring in today's society, today current events, not just here, but globally around the world. I'm assisting with the education of others because some people, all they know how to do is doom scroll on apps. And this is where if they might stop, even just for, I don't know, a minute, and hear something, maybe it'll encourage them to get off the app and look something up on their own. Also, I believe conversations are important to have.
Certainly, but you have to agree it's a drop in the bucket of a million-gallon bucket.
And I still think that part of what I do is important.
No, okay, I do think it's important, but I just I really just wanted to gain your perspective on life, on kind of where you think things are kind of going.
Let's crash.
Sorry, that's my daughter kind of poking in. Hi, honey. Hi. So I just, it's confusing to me. I would never want to put myself out the way you are. I would never want my daughter to put herself out the way you are, kind of in a shooting gallery.
Awesome.
And looking at the comments, listening to the people who are coming on here, it just seems like you're putting yourself up for failure, if I may be straightforward.
Oh, okay. Well, so what I would say is don't encourage your daughter to go into politics. If that's the case, if you don't want her to put herself out there. And I don't think I'm setting myself up for failure. I think at this point, the only thing I'm really doing is actually setting myself up for a type of success. Because this is something that I'm highly interested in. And a lot of people do subscribe to me just in order to have a little bit of education, or they join my Discord because every single day I'm dropping all sorts of news sources in my news channels every single day because of all of the news feeds that I pay attention to that a lot of people don't take the time to do, but I do, and it's just something that I can do just a little bit on the side outside of work.
Well, let's remove all of that. I'm a person who's ignorant of how many likes and clicks you have, and I'm a person who has scrolled through YouTube Shorts as I normally do. It's literally the only social media I have. I've removed myself from Instagram and Snapchat and all that stuff. But I've come across your channel several times, and I'm interested. I am engaged.
You're awesome.
But every time I see it, it seems to be an argument between, well, quite frankly, Trump and your views. And by that, I've taken in that it seems to be more of a, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because I haven't listened to you too much, but it just seems to be, on the surface, it seems to be more of an anti-America thing, and I'm now.
So really quickly, so
Now,
I'm going to
forgive me.
point this out.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to point this out. No, it's okay.
Go
Like,
ahead.
you can say that.
Go ahead.
I've heard it before. It doesn't really hurt my feelings when people say that.
Okay.
I would actually posit to say that speaking out against our government is probably the most American thing that anyone can do because it's actually what started the foundation of the United States of America with the
I agree.
Declaration of Independence of 1776. But Gustavo wanted to ask you, why are you just asking questions about me and not talking about why you support Trump?
Okay, well, if you want to understand why, are you asking me why I support Trump?
Next. I mean, I did ask that question about 12 minutes ago.
Okay, well, forgive me. I'm a bit starstruck, if I may be honest. It's to break it down in simplistic terms. I am like I said, a middle-class guy living in a middle-class lifestyle in America. I see things as far as the amount of people who are coming into the country. I see the kind of push to get rid of quote-unquote whiteness in America. I see how it's become a bad thing to become a nationalist, to become someone who's pro-America. I see how it's bad for children sometimes to wear the American flag on their T-shirts in school. I see people becoming less and less pro-gun. I see people less and less becoming pro-God. And these things are concerning to a person who, frankly, didn't grow up very religious. I didn't even grow up pro-gun until I was about 22, 23 years old, when I literally shot my first gun, and it scared the hell out of me. And then I realized, the importance of these things. And so, breaking it down to simplistic terms, I do believe in the core foundations of this country. I know it's over 250 years old at this point, but I do think that it's important to be pro-gun, to be pro-God, to be pro-life. And these are things that I think are eroding in general American culture. Do you disagree?
Yeah, on so many levels.
Well, come on. Don't be patronizing.
No, that's just an honest statement. You asked a simple question. I just gave a simple answer. Here, okay. Do you still have the stream up in the background, or you're?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I have you on speakerphone as I'm laying on my bed.
Gotcha. All right. Our country was not built on God. the majority of the founding fathers were deists, which means they believed in multiple deities. They didn't believe in just one god. They specifically also wanted to break away from Great Britain and the United Kingdom because of the forced one belief of a certain god. Which is why the very first freedom that is enumerated to us within the First Amendment of the United States is quite literally freedom of religion. It comes before your freedom of speech. It's freedom of religion. The Second Amendment does not mean that you should be able to own a nuke, or that you should be able to own a cannon, or that you should be able to own an automatic weapon. It does not actually guarantee your right to own any kind of weapon whatsoever, no holds barred, because at the time when the Second Amendment was written, we only had muskets. And that we know that for a fact, the number one cause of children unaliving in the United States of America are guns, as of 2022 and so forth. So for the last 3 years, the number one murderer of children in the United States of America are guns. So I don't care about people that are pro-guns, and pro-life is a misnomer that people don't even realize how much they're not pro-life. But I'm okay, man. I think we've hit one too many on the creep scale for me. Also, thank you, Sherry, for the 50. And I did. I just wanted to get those points out and address him. It's okay, Shishi. Like, people just don't get it. Like, I'm sorry, JDU. I didn't get a chance to ask him. But also, thank you so much for becoming a member. Their values are always more important than everybody else. I don't know why. But that was...
I have a family, but I think you're cute. Ugh.
I'm not even going to repeat that last part. Yes, Candid, that self-deletion is one of the main ones with that. That is true. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hey, yeah.
All right.
Thanks for answering.
Of course. How old are you?
How's it going?
Good.
35.
Awesome. And Moose, thank you for being a paid sub. Okay, did you vote for Trump?
I did.
And do you
I
still
didn't vote for him in 2016.
I care about 2024.
Right.
All right. Do you still support
Do I
him?
still support him?
Yes.
Actually, no.
Okay, I'll humor you for a moment. What's your reason for no longer supporting Trump?
Yeah, and I think the reason is going to be relevant because, yeah, I know you're asking for people that still support Trump. In a way, I do support him, but if it's a flat answer, you ask me yes or no. The reason that I don't support him is because of his immigration policy. Actually, I think the last caller you had was probably a little bit. I mean, there's many words I could use, but one of them would definitely be misinformed on the immigration thing. He's talking about the numbers and how they were really high.
Correct.
In the last administration.
100%. I would never deny that.
Yeah, and that's a big concern that a lot of right-wingers have, myself included. So obviously, Trump's running on that. That whole year he's running on it. And then he wins.
Subs in the next 9 minutes.
And a lot of people did vote for him because he said he was going to crack down on it. And to which he did. It seems like he did crack down on the border aspect of it. But part of the reason why my answer to your question was no was because the numbers on actual apprehensions here on our soil is so low that they're multitudes lower than they were during Obama's terms, both of his terms. That blows me away, and I'm actually a little curious about your opinion on that, because I know it seems like you do lean left, but you acknowledge what I just said.
Oh,
So could I get
100%.
your opinion on it?
So like there is no denying that we had a shortcoming at the southern border under the Biden administration. There's no denying that. However, I choose to look at it in two ways, right? So the increase of encounters at the southern border to me tells me that not only were we having an influx, also partly because of COVID, destroying a bunch of countries' economies, sanctions that destroyed other countries' economies, which caused us to enact TPS, including under Donald Trump's first administration on his way out the door, January 19, 2021, granted TPS to all Venezuelan immigrants. Right? So like there was a reason for the large influx that we saw coming to the southern border, right? But when I see a large number of encounters and I see about the same, very not that big of a difference between the apprehensions and deportations from the total encounter rate, we know that they didn't just let everybody in. They had about a 72% rejection rate at the southern border, which means, again, CBP was doing their job the entire time. They were stopping people because encounters don't just include at ports of entries. It also includes at non-ports of entries, which is important to note because that means that they've stopped them. We don't know how.
Well, that would be ports of entry. Would still be airports, right?
Correct. Yeah, I'm talking about. Leah, thank you for giving away 2 subs. I appreciate that. But so what I'm specifically talking about is that they do, when they stop somebody that's crossing through specifically the southern border, at a non-port of entry. So like, let's say crossing the Rio Grande River, like if CBP stops them after they've gotten out of the river, that's included as an encounter, which I think people seem to forget because that means they were still stopped and apprehended by CBP and then investigated the right to be here and why were they trying to come in here through a non-port of entry. So again, to me, it just means that CBP was doing their job, and I'm not going to deny, like I said, that overall there was an issue at the southern border, right? It was a culmination effect.
Really what it came down to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was probably a number of things. Is your general stance that you want lower immigration or to stay the same as it was during Biden's term, or?
For me specifically,
if you don't mind me asking.
My opinion on immigration is that I believe that we should, for individuals that have been here 5 or more years, as long as they have not committed a single crime since coming into the country, they should be granted amnesty, which puts them back on the way to have a pathway to citizenship, to become a United States citizen. And then if for anyone that's been here for less than that, it can be on a case-by-case basis with extreme scrutiny based off of how they came in and everything like that, right? And figure out like why, dig into it more, right? And so I think that the way that our laws are in place, I 1000% support an entire overhaul of our immigration laws that are in place because they're extremely antiquated and outdated. They haven't been actually updated the way that people are allowed to immigrate in here since 1960s. The only thing that they've done since 1968 was supposedly strengthen or make it more strict about how people can employ undocumented immigrants, like the employment of undocumented immigrants.
Yeah, they actually made it, after the 60s, they made it more of they simplified the process of having people come into the country, actually. Yeah, I would agree. I actually used to have your opinion, completely about the amnesty thing. I used to say I didn't even have that consideration about 5 years in the country. I think that's a really balanced view to take. I don't know if one of the things that you mentioned earlier was when you're being interrogated about why you do a stream at all. One of the questions was like, why do you do this? And you gave a good answer. You said that things pretty much come down to politics.
They do.
I would disagree, though. I think that everything kind of comes down to demographics, and when you do, that you already know the argument, you already know the rhetoric that I'm going to be going into. But basically, I feel that as you change the population of a country from one type to another type, like they have different things. The world is very diverse. So I feel like if you have a situation where you bring in enough people from a different part of the world, it will change the place that they're going to, just by a matter of fact of like how they go through their lives and how they were raised. I'm not saying that can be bad or good, but I am saying that the people that were in the country that's the destination, their country starts to change without them asking for it. That's my issue.
So what I would say about that is that we shouldn't be so adverse to change. Change is good. The original idea of the United States was to be a melting pot. That's why we had Ellis Island, which had less than a 2% rejection rate when they wanted immigration to occur within the country even more than, of course, the colonization that occurred. And so because we come from immigrants, everybody in this country, unless you're indigenous, you're an immigrant here. So therefore, immigration could only help or assist it to go further. And even if let's just look at specifically most Latin American countries, a lot of those countries are pretty sexist. So, what we see here with looking at voter trends between 2020 and 2024, we saw that more of the Latino base, the Latinx base, voted Republican than they have in previous elections.
Can I stop you there?
Sure.
Sorry, about that, the representation of Hispanics, non-Caucasian Hispanics, they did vote more Republican than they had previously, but that was also the case for every demographic, even the African American community, which still voted mostly
That's not
Democrat.
true. Black women still Black women, they saw an increase in voting for the Democratic Party.
No, yeah, absolutely. An increase in voting for Democrat. Okay, well,
and also actually, surprisingly, if I recall correctly, while it was still a high percentage of white women, but we also saw an increase, I believe, of white women voting for Kamala. It was still 47%, but which I think is just absolute ass.
Right, sure, and that's fine. I'm just talking about the increase in Latino voters voting for Republicans. Well, it's not just sexist people that vote right. I mean, we can both agree there, right? And also sexist, people that are, sexist towards women specifically, not towards men, but they aren't by definition right-leaning. That's not. I know plenty of full-on socialists, communist types that don't believe that women should be driving. I have a roommate that thinks that way, and he's a left-winger. I don't know if that's a right-wing. That could be a traditional, maybe a traditional thing, but to postulate that the Latino voters, the new wave of voters that we have from Latin America, were largely voting Republican. The increase I saw, but I wouldn't say that was necessarily they are voting mostly Republican. That's not the case.
No, I'm
Like
not
this last
saying
election,
mostly. They
it was
still
about
saw,
50-50.
it was just an increase between 2020 and 2024 that they saw, as far as the percentages on who voted for Trump versus Harris. And I was right, actually, that it was more. She saw an increase of young women voting for her, not just black women, but also white women. White women did see a slight increase. Some inroads, Republican losing them. Okay, so that we saw an increase of white women voting for Democrats compared to 2020 as well. But I mean, I'm not going to say that every single individual that votes for Democrats or Democratic candidates are not sexist. Of course, there are going to be individuals that are sexist. That's something that's always going to be here unless we can actually have a complete change of the thought process within the United States, which is going to take a long time to occur. And part of the breakthrough would be having the first woman be president of the United States, I think, maybe.
Should we have a female president primarily for the goal of changing the minds of people about women?
It would be a
Should that be
start.
the primary reason?
That would be a start of breaking up the patriarchy.
I can understand your point of view, but I'm just saying, like, wouldn't we want a president, like, especially during, I'm not saying Trump was the best, I have issues with Trump, as I said earlier, but, like, wouldn't we want a president, regardless of, like, what sex they are, just to be, like, as capable as possible, especially during these times when people are struggling so much?
No, I mean, that's not what I said. I wasn't saying that, therefore, we should only run women candidates. No, I was saying that it would be a good start in order to break up the patriarchy, because even what we see in the political sphere is that women still hold a significant minority when it comes to politics and having positions of office and positions of power within the United States. And I was saying that I think having a woman be elected as president would be a shift in the right direction. Is it required? Absolutely not. I've even said it on my live. I don't want Kamala Harris to run in 2028. I'm glad that she said she's not considering it at this moment and that she just wants to talk to the voter pool. I don't want her to run in 2028. Yeah, no, I don't want her to run. I do not at all. She tried her best with a less than 107-day run for campaigning in office at the ass end of the entire thing. She did her best, right? But unfortunately, she's already been painted in a bad light by the public, and that's not going to change with the media coverage that exists out there. And as much as I hate it, that is just the truth. And, Jesselyn, I would agree with you. I would agree with your comment there. Jesselyn said that we didn't deserve Kamala Harris. And I think...
Didn't deserve her? I mean, I would agree, but maybe for different reasons.
Yeah, probably different reasons.
I mean, our opinions are different. It's obvious. Sorry, I'll let you continue.
Oh, no. And Lala said it exactly why. She said, I want her to run, but I'm afraid we'll end up with the same results. That's exactly why. I don't want her to run again. There are other women that could run when their time comes. My choice at the moment, and this is with me still doing research on other people for 2028 when it comes to the Democratic Party, would be Pete Buttigieg, and he does have some baggage to him, and I acknowledge that. But even for the Republican Party, right now, Josh Hawley looks like a very strong contender, in my opinion, that he should lead the Republican Party or be the Republican Party nominee, because he's standing out against a lot of the individuals that claim that they're being conservative or claim that they're backing it, but he's actually making a stand in politics, and he's definitely becoming a more of a well-known name. I'm not saying I endorse him, guys. I'm just saying, like, there are potential options other than J.D. Vance. Marco Rubio is ass as well. Ted Cruz is absolute ass.
Agreed on both.
Yeah. Anybody that was actually within this administration or this cabinet tree should not run for office for the Republican Party.
Well, if they wanted to win, I think they'll run JD.
That spells
I think
trouble.
that's what'll happen. I mean, if things were to happen right now and they had to pick somebody and they couldn't change the choice, they would pick JD. And then I don't know who the Democrats would pick, but I thought you were going to mention Newsom. I'm surprised you didn't.
No. I honestly don't think that we should pick someone from California or that's been in California government. California has too much baggage right now.
Yeah.
Just like I still don't think that Republicans should pick J.D. Vance. They probably will, but I don't think they should.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, J.D. Vance is
Andy Beshear is good.
J.D. Vance exists because of Palantir, and
he exists because
Trump.
of the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah. I'm surprised that. So yeah, you don't like Ted Cruz. Are there any Republicans that you do like?
Yeah, I already named one. Well, sort of.
Tom
Tom Tillis is also slightly decent.
Thomas Massey?
Actually, yes, I had this conversation the other day. If the Republicans were being honest and said that they truly wanted to elect somebody to balance the budget like they claim, then they actually would endorse Massey. Because every single bill that even mentions raising the budget by even the smallest amount, he will automatically vote against it.
Shoot, actually, that's one thing I disagreed with him on, but I like everything else that he does. See, I actually don't mind raising the budget anymore. If it implies that, like, okay, so you seem like you might know about the Federal Reserve and the amount of debt that America's in. You seem educated. And up until Massey, like until he was pushing it so hard up against Trump, I agree with everything he said. And when it came to the debt, I was like, let's get it down as much as possible. But if there are things that I want personally done in this country, like I want the deportations to be at least Obama level, and the border to be secured. I want the military to cut back. Relatively, I would want us to spend less money, but I know a lot of the things that I would want, like the prior thing that I said, that would cost a lot of money. And so when Massey was pushing all that, I was like, I actually don't know anymore. But when he's talking about APAC, I love him. I love hearing him talk about APAC.
Gotcha.
I'm sure that maybe you know what APAC is.
Yes, I do.
We don't have to go into it if you don't want, but
yeah, no, it's not
one of the biggest issues I have with the
yeah,
Republicans.
APAC is, they're trouble, that's for sure. There's something. They're not for some people. Listen, do I agree that we need to cut some government spending? Absolutely. I disagree with the idea that somehow we're supposed to run a surplus in this country. We're not. We haven't seen a real surplus with the United States budget since Clinton, and even then we just racked up the debt right afterwards, right? Partially because of war, but also because the Republicans have been historically bad at the budget, to be honest with you. But yeah, I forgot about Massey, if I'm being honest. But yeah, like those would probably be my top three in my opinion right now. I honestly think that if way back in 2008, if John McCain had just chose any other vice presidential candidate, he would have won.
He might have won. He might have. Sarah Palin was a joke. And which is unfortunate because, like, anything I heard about her after that, she didn't look so stupid. But during the election, she looked pretty bad.
Tina Fey look-alike. That's where she ended up being known for me.
A what look-alike?
Tina Fey.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That's
why Tina Fey did such a good job with doing her.
Yeah, she did.
Okay. Well, I would say, I basically don't endorse Trump anymore, but for very different reasons. I feel like he's not extreme enough. The stuff that you mentioned about, like, Gulf of America, I get your perspective on that, too. I thought it was a waste of time, but when you ask...
It's more of a waste of time when Congress is trying to pass a bill that officially changes the name and requires every government building to also change any posters or verbiage of it, and would make it like a finable offense if any government building was found with Gulf of Mexico in there. The point is that body of water is not owned by the United States, and it is in fact an international body of water, and we are not the only country that's a part or that is in the Gulf, right? We have Cuba and we have Mexico. If we were, okay.
So by that logic, why is it called Gulf of Mexico?
Because Texas used to be Mexico.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
A lot of the southern states used to be Mexico.
Well, if we want to go by, okay, I'm just saying, I'm playing devil's advocate. If we want to go by what things used to be, why don't we call it the Gulf of Spain?
Because Spain no longer owns
it's like
Mexico.
You can just keep going back.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to give it a very
Mexico.
accurate name, it should be named the Gulf of CUM.
CUM?
Cuba, United States, Mexico. Cuba, United States, Mexico.
Sure, but I mean, I don't know. Gulf of Israel has a better ring to it, I think.
Well, I appreciate the conversation. One last thing from you, and then I'm gonna try to get another Trump supporter. Yeah.
Sure. The thing about Gulf of America, um, can I ask roughly how old you are? I don't know if you're okay with saying that on stream.
I already did. I said I was 30.
Maybe your age group. Oh, yes, at 30. Okay.
Yep.
You might have noticed growing up the same thing that a lot of us in this millennial age group noticed, that we saw glimpses of, especially on the East Coast, like really beautiful old buildings. I'm running an example. It's going to be a parallel to the Gulf. But we might have seen like statues that were kind of brilliant, pieces of art that were brilliant, and buildings that were equally so. And so when I think about how things have gone since the 90s and how new buildings never look like they took any work to do, and maybe the effect it seems to have. I work around office buildings all the time, and I don't know if this has a conscious effect on the people that work around them, but maybe a subconscious effect of just demoralization in a very slight degree. I'm not saying it makes people depressed, but to some degree, I would say that has an effect. And so in the same way that if we started building buildings that actually looked beautiful again, it would lift people's spirits and kind of like lift them up a little bit. I think that the effect of renaming the Gulf of Mexico, that could have an effect. I don't think that's why Trump did it. I think he did it early because it was an easy win. But it's just because you asked, like, what was the point of it? Didn't see any point. All I want to say before letting off is I think there is a point to trying to at least inspire the American people by some degree. I don't know if that was the best way. I think it was a little bit of a selfish move, probably on Trump's part. But things like that would be good, and especially like similar to the thing coming up next year. If we're going to have like this big anniversary, I hope that maybe if you look at it, you might have a cynical view of it, but hopefully, and I might have a cynical view of it too because of the reasons for why they do it, but hopefully it has an effect on generally the people living in this country that, hey, we can do big things again. And that's why a lot of people support Trump, I think. I'll end it there.
All right. Well, have a good night, man.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, really quickly before I move on, I wanted to go ahead and address Brian's question. Yeah, nothing about Trump is inspiring. I agree with that. So why does California have baggage, in my opinion? Okay, so I agree with everything that Gavin Newsom did in response to going against Trump and him, well, when Trump militarized the National Guard and when Trump put our Marines out there on the streets. I agree with the way that Gavin Newsom handled it, right? But California has been a hot talking point in the media because of immigration, because of Medi-Cal, because of the way that Gavin Newsom responded to the protest, because of the way that Gavin Newsom responded to the President of the United States. And while I disagree with it, I just think it's too much of a hot climate atmosphere in order for him to immediately step in to run for president in 2028 and then be assured that we're not going to get J.D. Vance in 2028 as the supposed Republican nominee, right? Because I don't know about anybody else, but a lot of us think that J.D. Vance is kind of wackadoodle, right? And so with that being in mind, I don't want the chance of J.D. Vance winning, right? I gave you guys at least 3 other Republicans that all have their own baggage, right? But I think I would support them more, right? I would support them way more than Marco Rubio or J.D. Vance, Ted Cruz. All of them, they all suck. Anyway, they all capitulated, right? Unfortunately, I think Gavin Newsom just carries with him too much baggage for the Democratic Party. It also doesn't help that he's like, let's go tit for tat with Greg Abbott of Texas in redrawing California's map, which Democratic states have always been on the up and up by, well, not all of them, but a good portion of the Democratic states have hired independent, I don't know if they'd be called cartographers, but cartographers for the election maps, the rezoning maps for Congress. And while I agree that we need to go tit for tat, I don't like the fact that we are dismantling our democracy one piece at a time. And that part hurts. That part hurts me at my core. Like, I agree with it. We can't let the Republican Party, and in the way that Donald Trump is saying, Texas, redraw your map. And them just bending over backwards to make it, right? Yeah, we have to go toe-to-toe with him. We have to. I understand that. The Democratic Party has to go toe-to-toe with other Republican states, right? The Democratic Party, yeah, they have to stop being the nice people. They have to stop being so politically correct on a lot of different things, right? Not really politically correct, but speaking in a political tone of fashion in their news interviews or when they're out speaking to the public. Be real with people. The reason why so many young men voted for Trump and can see themselves in Trump is because he just says stupid shit all the damn time. He just says what's on his mind. Yeah, Newsom is good right now in the moment. I don't think he's good right now for president. Maybe 2032. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Okay, bye. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes.
Hi, how old are you?
49.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
And do you still support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you do sound a little low even for me. Are you able to talk a little bit closer to your mic?
Is this better?
So much better. Oh my god, thank you. Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. You are going to be the last caller. So why did you support Trump? Or why do you still support Trump? My bad. I phrased that a little wrong.
So before I tell you why I support Trump, let me tell you how much of a Trump supporter I am. I actually coined the acronym MAGA, believe it or not. So Make America Great Again was actually not a new term. It was actually used in Ronald Reagan's term. And when Trump started saying Make America Great Again, I saw it on one of the streams or something online, and I was like, Make America Great Again. And this was in 2015. And I said, that has a ring to it. And I wrote MAGA, and then it just like blew up. But anyway, that's just my claim to fame. Most people don't believe me, but it's true. So a couple of things I just wanted to say. You misquoted when you said that Kamala Harris gained supporters. There's no major demographic where she gained supporters over Joe Biden. Now, if you break it down like non-college and college and things like that, but in terms of white men, white women, black men, black women, Hispanic men, Hispanic women, she gained no support in any of those demographics.
No support, none at all. Got it.
No, she didn't. No, there was no improvement. Everything was a negative.
No
so
improvement.
Even for black women, you said black women, it was negative too. So she got. It was not a lot, but it's still a negative. It was negative too, and that was like the best that she, if you can say best or negative, the best that she did was black women at -2. And I'm looking at the navigatorresearch.org, which is a left-leaning publication or research firm. And then in terms of, you said Pete Buttigieg would be a good candidate. Pete Buttigieg is actually polling at 0 with black voters.
Can we? Okay, listen, dude.
No, I'm serious.
I asked you why you still support Trump, not, hey, let's go through the last really good conversation you had with somebody. And let me pick it apart piece by piece. I'm not here to answer your questions right now. You're here to answer mine. If that's not what you thought you were doing when you called the stream, I'll just move on to the next one.
I'm so sorry. We were talking about the facts, but so one of the things that Trump is pushing for, he's an America First president, and so when you think about something as radical as like taking over Greenland, right?
And I just want to point out, you were wrong. I love this. I love this
I was
stuff.
wrong about what?
You were wrong.
What was I wrong about?
So
What are you
specifically, higher heights for America. Okay, 90% of black women voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in 2020. But again, we know that 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris in 2024. Cool beans. Thank you. Fantastic. Okay.
Okay, I see
Now can you
90%
continue?
of women voted for Kamala Harris. But we're talking this 2 percentage points. It's neither here or there. She essentially is zero when you think about polling. But Greenland is.
Why do you support Trump?
Because he wants to. He's America first, and he wants to take over countries like not take over, but he wants to take over countries like Greenland. And even though that's a radical thing, when you think about what Russia is doing and where Russia is headed, and you think about even the Panama Canal, right? You mentioned that. China is a very, very, very strategic country, and Trump is looking out for the best interests of America.
What year are we in?
And even though we're in 2025.
Okay. When did it become normal in the 21st century that we talk about disregarding internationally recognized borders and countries within the world?
When you see countries like Russia threatening to take over Ukraine, and you see countries like China threatening to take over Taiwan.
And yet Donald Trump is bending over backwards for Putin's favor, for President Xi Jinping's favor in China, because he just extended the tariff by another 90-day pause for China. So it doesn't sound like he's really being strong against these countries that you are claiming that we should be fearful of. He even suggested that Putin could in fact have all of the land of Ukraine that they currently occupy. So he's actually just bending over backwards, in fact, for dictators like Putin and like Xi Jinping. Got it.
Okay,
so we should be fearful of the countries that Donald Trump wants to just say,
you're using a word
hey, we're here.
You're using a word fearful, not fearful, strategic. How strong do you want him to be against Russia?
That Russia needs to get the fuck out of Ukraine.
How does that happen?
How does that happen? Easy.
Yes.
Tell them to get the hell out of Ukraine. Or, as we already know, you want to know why? Because Lithuania is already trying to invoke Article 5 of NATO because fucking Russia sent a drone with weapons into their airspace that crashed right next to one of their military bases in Lithuania, sir. We're already right there on the doorstep, sir. I'm sure that's something that you didn't even know of, that Lithuania is actually petitioning to NATO to see what their options are because Russia sent an armed drone into their airspace that crashed near one of their military bases on purpose after, it hovered for a moment and they were able to see it, and then it had an extra couple of booms because it had bombs on it.
I get it.
And yet, you're so okay with Donald Trump saying, it's okay, Putin, you can take land from Ukraine, you can take it all.
Listen, Russia is...
Is that what you want Donald Trump to do?
I want the war to end.
And how does it end?
But at the same time, we understand...
How does it end?
Ends by compromise.
What's the compromise? Why should Ukraine have to give up their land? They're weak? Is that why they've managed to withhold and hold this all back for over 11 years now, when Russia's been at their back, been knocking at their door this entire time since February 22nd of 2014?
And international catastrophe.
But they already have. That's also not true. We already know that that's not true in several different instances. Again, they're literally sending drones into Lithuania's airspace. They're sending fighters. They're sending fighter jets into Poland's airspace. We already know what they're doing.
They are. They're showing their hand. They want to take over.
They're showing their hand. They're showing their hand. So therefore, Russia is stronger than Ukraine. Therefore, we must be afraid of Russia. And yet again, Donald Trump is capitulating to Russia by saying, yes, Putin, you can take their land that you have illegally stolen from Ukraine, illegally occupied from Ukraine, because you are ignoring internationally recognized sovereign borders of a nation after you signed the Budapest Memorandum in 1994, saying that you are going to honor their sovereignty as a country, which is exactly why, again, that we're even protecting them or sending them money to start with. So let's be so for real. You don't get to say that these people are the boogeyman, that we need need to take over Greenland because of Russia, right? We don't get to say we get to take over Greenland because we're so afraid of Russia, and then also bend over backwards to let Russia have Ukrainian land after again they're flying right up on Poland's airspace. That Poland has activated their air force 5 times since November 17th. So don't even try me with that. We're already there. You want to say that you want World War III? Absolutely not. I don't want World War III, but apparently Putin fucking does. And so you're just saying, just give Putin what he wants because he's trying to do it. No, sir, that's not how this works. The fact is that he's already threatening the Baltic nations multiple times. He's already told Poland that they're not safe even if Ukraine wins the war somehow. But Ukraine is so weak that they've managed to uphold and withhold and stand strong in the last 11 fucking years. But yeah, let's be clear, Ukraine is weak.
Who was Russia's major partner? Who was
I just wanted to do that for a second. That was dumb. I'm sorry, that was dumb. Yeah, guys, it is the year 2025. We no longer should talk about occupying or taking over sovereign nations. Ignoring internationally recognized borders in the year 2025. Okay? Yeah, a Russian sympathizer trying to say that he wasn't. Yeah, okay. Anyways, 1 second, TikTok. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 175,000 really quickly. Don't do that to me. Don't you try, studio. Don't be dumb. Anyways, TikTok, finish out this gift goal real quick. I'm going to mute for just a second. Okay. Thank you over on YouTube and Twitch for being here. Candid, you've been here the whole time, so I appreciate you. Frankly, I think America failed in the 60s. It's just taken us this long to decompose. You know, that's a fair point. I know I haven't read all of your messages, but something representing... Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. Representative democracy probably did die in 2008 with Citizens United. I don't disagree with you in any way, shape, or form with that. You're probably right. But I appreciate you guys being here on Twitch. I appreciate you guys so much on both of the streams on YouTube. Seems that we recovered a little bit, so that's good. I am going to go ahead and call it a night on YouTube and Twitch. So don't forget to follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube. Subscribing is free to do. So be sure to hit that button. And we'll be back tomorrow on all of the streams at, what time is it? 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay? So I will see you guys back on live tomorrow. Y'all have a great one. I gotta move everything.